What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to The Spill. I'm Bree, your host, here to spill my business, your business, and even your mama's business. Let's get messy. So for episode 3, we are going to get a little bit more personal with my life and kind of what started all of this wanting to spill business, my personal life. And that'll be talking about my mom and our relationship that we've had over the last 27 years, because I am 27 years old. But it's something that I think a lot of people go through with parents, especially during my generation. I feel like a lot of us grew up with our grandparents or somebody else as the parental figure, and it really did affect me throughout my whole life, and it's still till this day. And I think that I should get to talk to y'all about my personal relationship with my mother, because it is a big part of my life and my story and my journey, because I'm on a journey to heal and find myself and do the things that I love in life. I want to live life to the fullest, and to be able to do that, I need to be accepting of my past and be able to deal with my past. My journey with my relationship and healing from all of the things that I've gone through is part of my life that I want to share with y'all today. And I'm excited, but also super nervous, because it's really personal and nobody likes to really talk about their relationship with their people in their life that are personal, like your mother, your dad, your grandparents, your siblings. It's a really touchy subject, and this is a touchy subject for me, just because I'm still going through the process of learning how to deal with where we are in our relationship currently. So what really started me doing this healing journey of my relationship with my mother was I was listening to this podcast. She was talking about this book called Mother Hunger, and it was about how to heal a daughter's relationships with their mother in adulthood. And I was like, I need to listen to this. And I went searching everywhere, and I finally bought this book. So the book is by McDaniel. It's called Mother Hunger: How Adult Daughters Can Understand and Heal from Loss, Nurturance, Protection, and Guidance. I do really recommend reading this. I've just started it, and it's already very insightful. It's encouraging me to pursue happiness beyond all of this baggage that I have. And we deserve to live a life that's free of sadness and disappointment and wanting more from someone that can't give us more. So when I started rereading this book, I really wanted to share with people one of the terms that she uses, which is a mother hunger, the title of the book. And this is what she describes. Mother hunger is a term I created to describe what it feels like to grow up without a quality of mother that imprints emotional worth and relational security. Mother hunger feels like an emptiness in the soul that is hard to describe, because it may set in during infancy or before language forms and becomes part of how you always feel. The term mother hunger captures a compelling, insatiable yearning for love, the sort of love we dream about, but we can't find. Mother hunger isn't a disorder. It's an injury, a heartbreak that forms from inadequate maternal nutrients, protection, and guidance in early development. carrying an unknowledgeable, invisible burden all by yourself. You didn't stop loving your mother. You simply didn't learn to love yourself. This is the essence of mother hunger. Yes, read it if you are trying to heal. I'm trying to heal. I'm just barely stepping my toes in this, and I'm really excited to learn how to love myself, love the relationships that I have currently, and heal from everything I've been through. So episode 3 is going to be about spilling my business, hence the title, which is my relationship with my mother currently, or what we've kind of been through. I've been feeling like I needed to talk about this because it's been bothering me. I'm one of those people that dream whenever they're like something's on their mind, and she's been popping up in my dreams, and it's been a really stressful dreams lately. So I knew that I probably needed to talk about this, and I think it's really good for me to share this part of my life with people so they know that they're not alone when it comes to having a bad relationship with their mother, because a lot of people don't understand how it feels to not have a relationship with their mother, because I say it's really common now, but it shouldn't be common. And that's what I've started to see lately, is that it's becoming very common that parents are not being parents, mothers are not being mothers, dads are not being people are not being the person that they need to be for their children. And personally, I needed a mother when I was younger, and I felt alone in that for so long, and I want to let other people know that they aren't alone in feeling that way, and it's okay to talk about it, and it's okay to accept that we don't have a good relationship with our mother, but that we can still have successful relationships with other people though, and we can move past that broken relationship and heal from it. Currently, me and my mother talk when we need to talk, and that means when my grandpa needs something, or really that's it, honestly, is when my grandpa needs something. My grandma passed away a year and a half ago, and since then I've been taking care of my grandpa, doing his financial stuff with him, and my mom, kind of splitting up that duty with my mom. So sometimes we will communicate back and forth, but it's not a how are you doing, what are you up to, when can we get together. There's no life updates because we're not involved in each other's lives personally anymore. Besides my grandpa, honestly, I don't think that we would talk if it wasn't for my grandpa. I think the reason why we have come to this understanding of not communicating outside of family issues, because I've enforced that. I've enforced a boundary between me and my mother, because I could no longer let her hurt me. I could no longer put up with the in and out of my life. It wasn't a constant relationship. It was very toxic, I didn't feel important in our relationship, and I no longer think that I should be put on the back burner when it comes to importance, because I'm her daughter. I think that we should be really important in her life, and I felt like we weren't anymore, or ever was, for me at least. And so I learned how to stand up for myself, stand up for my worth, and know my worth, that I can no longer put myself in a situation where I know the outcome is sadness or disappointment or regret or anger. There was no happy outcomes anymore whenever we would spend time together. And why would I put myself in a situation when I knew every single time it wasn't going to be a good situation? The last time that we ever got together was for my grandma's funeral, and that was an awful time. That funeral could have been in a movie. I'm still like shocked of the events that happened during that whole funeral process. So I haven't been talking to my mother since 2020, and a lot of health issues were coming up with my grandma, and she ended up going to the hospital and she passed away. And it was the most hardest time I've ever been through in my entire life. You would expect a mother to be able to get past everything that we had been going through and be able to comfort her daughters and be there for her family. But it was the complete opposite. I felt so alone, and she was not there for us. I think a lot of my sisters, more than half of my sisters, which there is 6 of us, so, and I'm the oldest of 6 from my mother, and currently only 2 talk to her, which are the 2 youngest. The rest of us don't talk to her or have a relationship with her anymore, and I believe they would feel the same way I feel about the last time that we all got together or that we saw our mom and were together. It was such a traumatizing moment for us to be having to go through the funeral process and grieving process, but also we had nobody to turn to. We didn't have our mother to grieve to or to comfort us at all. That relationship, it was broken already, so there was no push to be a family and to be together at that funeral. My mom has ruined her relationship in different ways with each of her daughters. Not just me. I have my own personal story, and my sisters have their own stories about why they don't talk to my mother. And all I can tell you is mine, which is a lifetime of her not being there for me when I needed her to be. I grew up with my grandma. My grandparents raised me. My mom had me at a very young age. So that responsibility of taking care of me was too much for her. And my grandma took on that role to be my caretaker because she didn't like not knowing where I was, because my mother would leave me wherever new place she was at with her friends. So my grandma took the initiative to raise me alongside my grandpa, and I was off and on going to live with my mom and then going to live with my grandparents. And then finally at the age of, it was around 10, I think I was in 4th grade. It was my last time I ever went to go live with my mother in 4th grade, and I said, I don't want to live like this. I hate moving apartment to apartment. I hate coming home and there's nobody here. I hate taking care of myself and my sibling, who is 6, 7, and the littlest one, which was 3 or 4, and then there was another one that was 1. They stayed with my Nana, but it was just me taking care of my other sister all the time until my mother would come home, because she was a working mom. So there was nobody there until the end of the night, and I was tired of living that life of not being taken care of. Yes, we had food in the refrigerator. We had a roof over our head. We had clothes, but there was no parent there for us. And I was 10 years old cooking food and not even knowing how to cook. I was growing up fast and I couldn't be a kid anymore. So I refused to go and live with my mom anymore, and I made my grandma come and pick me up, and I lived with her for the remainder of my school years. And that's the best decision I ever made for myself, to remove myself from that relationship, because I realized so early on as a child that my mother wasn't consistent, she wasn't there. And that's not all her fault because a job does take away. But even after work, she wasn't there. I didn't like that life. I wanted to be in a stable home. And my grandma was able to provide that, and my mom couldn't. So my grandma agreed to let me live with her. It was really hard not being there with my sisters. It made me kind of feel distant from them. And I felt like an only child with my grandma. But I still wanted to go and be with them. They were always doing fun things. My mom made sure to let me know that they were doing fun things, like going to Six Flags and going to different places. But I would never get to go because I lived back in Oklahoma where there wasn't anything, and they weren't going to come drive 3 hours to come and get me. My mom never came to pick me up or spend time with me or anything like that. Maybe during the summertime I'd go and we'd go school clothes shopping, but the rest of the time I usually spent my time with only my grandparents and my cousins that lived on the same street. So there was that distance with my sisters, but as soon as I got a car when I turned 16, I was driving up there to see them every chance I got. So my relationship with my sisters are really close. Most of them have all lived with me and currently still live with me. So I would say we do have a good sister bond is there. We love each other, and I'm so thankful that I have so many sisters because I don't know what I would do without them. And they're the only ones that understand what I've gone through, and I understand what they've gone through because we've all experienced neglect in some shape or form from our mom, whether it's guidance, protection, nurturance. We're missing a lot of pieces from what we needed from our mom, and we all can relate to that. A lot of us can relate to that, and I'm trying to heal from that and be able to understand that and where to go after experiencing all that. Me and my mom have gone many times of not speaking to each other and then speaking to each other and then not speaking to each other. Very toxic. It just it just depended how the wind blew, honestly. And every single fight I can think about always had the punishment of her not talking to me. And if she wasn't talking to me, I didn't get to go do things with them. She wasn't going to call me. Nobody was going to call me. I wasn't invited to go and do anything. I'll never forget when she didn't tell me happy birthday on my 16th birthday because she wasn't talking to me. And that was a form of punishment of whatever argument or fight that we were having. And I remember just looking at my phone and waiting for that text message, hoping that I was on her mind. And why was I having to wish for a mother to be there for me and put the differences aside? Every silent treatment that I went through, I would have to apologize to her to stop it. I had to be the grown-up and apologize for whatever I said and start acting like nothing ever happened and kind of move on and never talk about the situation that we just went through. It was my job as the child to go to her and try to make amends for whatever we were going through. I will say this has been the longest silent treatment that I've ever had happen, but it's because I put that boundary up. I told her that I didn't no longer want to have a relationship with her because it was toxic and there was many things that we needed to talk about and she didn't want to talk about. She literally walked away from me when I started to talk about all the things that I was feeling and experiences that I have. She walked away from me. And I told her I didn't want to have a relationship with her if she didn't want to talk about it. And she walked away. One of the hardest things about no longer having a relationship with my mom is the fact that it comes down to someone putting down their guard and talking about the things that we don't want to talk about. I put down my guard and asked to talk about these things, and she didn't want to. So I'm waiting here with the door open, and it feels like she's choosing not to walk in and have that conversation. She walked away from having that conversation. She walked away from having a relationship with her daughter. And it really hurts because our relationship falls into her hands. Yes, the ball is in my court too. And I'm essentially waiting for the day that she's able to confront her demons, just like I'm ready to confront my demons too. I'm waiting for her to be that bigger person for once, because I can no longer be that bigger person anymore. I can't keep fighting for a relationship that I feel like she never fought for, to be in my life, to in any way, shape, or form, either visiting me, calling me, checking on me, all the things that mothers do to be supportive. I feel like she's neglected me to do those things. Our relationship has gotten to where it is because of her and because of me. Me putting up boundaries and her not putting her guard down and accepting the things that I went through as a child and I'm ready to talk about. If she could openly listen to the things that I went through in my experiences, I feel like we could have a relationship again, and I am open to that. I've always been open to that. I won't say always, because at one point I felt like I could never talk to her again no matter what. I didn't want to make an effort. But now as I'm getting older and I realize people change every day, and if one day she was able to wake up and take the accountability for the things that she did and even just acknowledge them, I think that we could have a relationship again. But I don't know if she'll ever be ready for that. At least I know right now she's not. She's still waiting for me to fight for our relationship. And she needs to realize she needs to be the one that's fighting for our relationship, because I'm not going to do it anymore. And when she can show that initiative that she wants to fight to be in my life, like she fights to be in her boyfriend's lives or her friends' lives, if she could show that kind of initiative to be in my life, I know I could have a relationship with her again. I know that I'm open to healing that side, because I'm going to heal me regardless of her coming back into my life or not. I'm going to heal. I deserve to heal. I deserve to know and accept love that she couldn't give me. Not having a good relationship with my mom definitely had impacts on my relationships with my spouse, my relationships with my friends, even my relationships with my family has been affected by my relationship with my mother. It made it really hard to accept that I am enough, that I don't have to do extra things for people to love me, for someone to love me. I felt like I always had to overdo myself to make my mother love me. And I've accepted that I don't have to. The people in my life love me just for me. I don't have to get all dressed up just so you'll pay attention to me. My relationship with my mom affected me a lot. It's so cringy to talk about now because I'm like, oh, I was so young. But I found it so odd that his mom called him all the time. I mean, was worried about what he was doing, just getting updates in his life. Not even all the time. It was like maybe every other day. And I thought it was so weird. I've always known that my relationship with my mom is not normal, but I really started to realize that it wasn't normal when I saw Matt have a mother that was everything my mother wasn't. She cared for her kids so much, and I didn't know how to deal with that. I thought it was weird. I was like, why is your mom calling you all the time? She won't leave you alone. Like, why does she always want you over there? Like, I was really toxic. I'm not gonna lie. I was like getting mad for no reason, but it's probably because I wanted that. I wanted my mom to call me and check on me. She never did. She never cared what I was doing or no updates. The only time that she wanted any big updates is if, I don't even know. Really never. But I couldn't accept that his mother was so caring and mine wasn't. It made it really tough until I started accepting her love, because she had so much love for me. She had so much love for everyone that she took me in as one of her own and made me feel just as loved as all of the rest of her kids. And I realized this is what a mom is. I could go and talk to her about anything, and I didn't have that relationship with my mom. I'm so thankful now that I got to spend some time with her while she was here to get to experience that love of a mother, because she really did give me that. So did my grandma. But it was nice to see love as a mother-daughter. My relationship with my mother also made me very untrustworthy with other people in my life. I was always afraid of people using me. My relationship with my mother has made me very insecure in my friendships. I'm always afraid that I'm going to be left alone, or they're going to just stop talking to me. It's always my worst nightmare that someone's going to just stop talking to me and not tell me why, and I'm going to have to keep apologizing. And I'm kind of paranoid now that those relationships are going to end abruptly, because that's how it would be with my mother. Our relationship would end abruptly and she wouldn't be talking to me anymore. So I'm always afraid of losing a friend or someone in my life and them just stop talking to me. I want to please them. I am a people pleaser. I will please you and try to be there in any way I can, just so you'll like me and keep me around. And I think I got that from trying to please my mother all the time and being afraid of her not talking to me. With my mother not being a big part of my life, a lot of life lessons I had to teach myself. The one thing that she did teach me that every time I say it, I think of her, and I don't know if it's a positive or a negative feeling, but she used to say, if they like it, I love it. So if that person keeps going back to that situation, they like being in that situation, then I love it. I love it for them. They like it. Even if it's a bad situation, I love it for them. That really taught me not to concern myself with other people and what decisions that they make. And I think I've started to apply that to our relationship. If she likes to not have a relationship with us and have a relationship with other people that's not beneficial for us, then I love it. I love that we can have a relationship then. That love that my mom couldn't give me, I get it in so many different ways through my relationship with my spouse, my friends, my sisters. I get that in other ways. There's people in this world that love me, even though I feel like my mother didn't. I know there's a lot of different examples of mother neglect, and there's a lot of different stories and examples that I have that would take many episodes to go over with, and a lot of me being able to talk about them, because those memories sometimes make me unsettled and make me really uncomfortable in day-to-day life. So talking about these things sometimes can be detrimental to my mental health. But I know a lot of people have different forms of mother neglect that I want y'all to start talking about and being okay talking about. I know a lot of people grew up with their grandparents. I mean, I loved growing up with my grandparents. How did y'all like growing up with y'all's grandparents? I mean, they were the best. They did it, I was spoiled. I'm not gonna lie. My grandparents spoiled me. So yes, I was the lucky one that got to go be with my grandparents. But I felt bad for my siblings that I left behind, because I went and lived lavish, it felt like, and they didn't live lavish, or so I kind of feel that regret or remorse towards them. But they are a lot closer to my mom, so I know it's really difficult for them right now not being able to talk to her. It's much more easier for me because she did it to me so often. That's something else I'm wondering. How did y'all's mother punish y'all? Mine was the silent treatment and not taking me out to places, which I really didn't care to go anywhere, so it really never bothered me. But I knew she was always trying to make a point to tell me when they were going somewhere. But let me know what y'all's mother would do to punish y'all. It's really hard to be in a relationship with someone who has a mother figure that is great and awesome and there for their children. It's super hard for the one that doesn't have one. How did you deal with that insecurity of not having a mother or a parent figure while the other spouse did have one? One of the hardest things about not talking to my mom is having to explain why I don't talk to her to other family members or even friends, or like friends of the family. They're like, oh mija, why don't you talk to your mother? Go talk to your mother. And I'm like, I'm not going to. Like, I'm waiting for her. And they're like, go talk to your mom. She loves you, And it's so hard to explain to them that you don't know what I've been through. You don't know our relationship personally. So you telling me to just go on and talk to her like nothing is really diminishing of my feelings. And it's hurtful. And I don't deserve to be told that my feelings are invalid and I should get over whatever she did to me. So how do you explain to people that you're not on talking terms with your mother, or that you have a relationship with them? It's so hard to explain to people that. This was definitely a very personal episode, and it's kind of like a relief to get to talk about this situationship that I have with my mother and how I'm growing through all of that and trying to heal. This is my life. It's the cards I've been dealt, and I am just riding with it and just spilling all of the tea to y'all about my life. So I really do hope that y'all enjoyed this. Let me know if y'all like this kind of content or don't. What more y'all would like to hear about my relationship with my mother or my family members, even my sisters. But I want y'all to get to know me and what I've been through in my life. And it was really important for me to share this with y'all. So I really hope that y'all enjoyed this. Please subscribe, follow me on YouTube. I have a TikTok, Instagram. I need to make a Facebook. But please support me. I really enjoy doing this, and I enjoy getting to talk to y'all. Thank you so much for the support. Peace out.